Warning, the following video will make you feel old. That is all. Greetings fellow Vita fans, this is James with PS Vita at 2 AM, coming at you once again with another exciting video. And if you're new here and love everything PlayStation Vita, don't forget to subscribe. And man, oh man, how did we ever get to this point? 10 years the PS Vita has been on the market, at least over here in North America and other territories in the West, for over 10 years this month? Not that we're being biased or anything. Yeah, we finally reached that milestone now in February, and I'm still geeking out over it. Actually, it was a few days ago because I didn't get this video out fast enough, but let's just forget about that tiny innuendo. So for today's video, I'm gonna share my personal experience on how I got into the PS Vita. And guys, I would be very curious to learn, how did you get into the handheld? Make sure to tell me your stories down below, as well as what the PS Vita means to you. Oh, and include any drama you might have with it as well, because that's always fun to read. Now, some of you out there may be shocked to learn that originally I had no interest in the PS Vita whatsoever. Yeah, hard to believe though it may be, it's true. Wow, I'm starting off this video with my own drama it seems. So we gotta go back all the way to the year 2012, the initial release year for the Vita here in the West. Though we have to go forward a few months to summer of 2012, where my family had approached me and asked me what I wanted for my birthday. And honestly, at the time, I had no idea. I mean, I already had a PS3 and an Xbox 360, as well as a 3DS, so at that point, I was like, I don't know, I have no idea really. And I don't think there were any games out there that I wanted either. In fact, at the time, I didn't even know Sony had released a new handheld. Yeah, you know all that E3 hype that the community was just gushing over? I had no idea it even existed, which is a real shame because I would have loved to have gushed over it with them, until I had gone to a GameStop a few days later and happened to see it there on the shelves. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, I like the PSP and also, why not get the PS Vita? And again, I was just asking for it just because I couldn't think of anything else really. So yeah, they ended up getting it for me on my birthday of that year, and well, to be honest, I really did like the experience, especially the whole cross-chat thing, because you have to remember at the time, we Sony fans only had the PS3 for voice chat, and you had to be in a specific room, chat room that is, and the only way you could talk to your friends outside of that chat room is if you were all playing the same game. But with the PS Vita, it had cross-chat, meaning you could be chatting with your friends and be playing different games, or not games at all, I guess if you really wanted to, all at the same time, and that was a huge deal for me that year. And the first two games I got were Hot Shots Golf and Gravity Rush, called Gravity Days in other territories. Does anybody know the reason for that? I always wondered. Must be some sort of weird licensing issue. So I popped these games into my Vita and shortly discovered that I couldn't play them. Yeah, for anyone out there who doesn't know, the OLED model, which is the original release of the Vita, had no internal storage whatsoever. You needed a memory card in order to save your games. In fact, it went so far that you couldn't even play any games without having a memory card. You guys think I drink a lot of root beer? You should have seen that day. My family didn't know this, so I wasn't able to actually play any games until the following day when I went out to buy a 4GB memory card. Oh boy, was ever I to learn that that wasn't going to be enough. But at the very least, I was able to play the games now, so there was that. Hot Shots Golf I absolutely loved, but when it came to Gravity Rush, I wasn't a huge fan of some of the motion controls and touch features that the game forced the player to implement. But you already guys know how I feel about all that, so I'll just let it be. I did drink a lot of a certain beverage that day though, and these were pretty much the only two games that I had for the system for a very long time. I played them off and on, but then as time went on, I just kind of slowly forgot about the handheld and just moved on to other things basically. In fact, I cared so little about it, I wouldn't pick up a Vita for almost another 4 years. Yes, I'm hanging my head now in shame as we speak. But you gotta remember, I was a huge fan of the PS3 during this time, so that took up a majority of my free time during those years. At least that's the excuse I like to make for myself anyway. So now we gotta move ahead to 2016 when I happened to be at GameStop and just glanced over at the PS Vita section thinking, oh yeah, the PS Vita, I forgot about this device. And the more I started looking over the physical releases that GameStop had at the time, the more I saw it had a lot of odd niche titles, which as many of you out there know is my bread and butter. And to make a long story short, I hopped over onto YouTube, looked up some videos about what games were available for this platform, and instantly I fell in love with it. And I figured to myself, you know what, I think I love this system now enough to start collecting for it. I mean, there's not many games for it, so that should be easy. Right? Plot twist, it wasn't right. And oh boy, was I ever in for a rude awakening when I realized just how much of a difficult task that was going to be. Because you got to remember, this is during a time when the likes of limited run games were very unknown. In fact, I wouldn't even hear about the company until a few months later. And I thought, okay, well that's kind of cool. I mean, this company bringing limited physical releases for the Vita every now and then. I mean, that can only be a good thing, right? Right? Am I right? I was sort of right. But then we had so many other companies hopping on the bandwagon with this, and as I'm sure many of you collectors out there know, it became a very stressful thing to collect for this handheld, especially during the last years of it. Like, as in literally losing sleep over the fact that I might miss one of the releases that week, and have to pay scalper prices. Those were some dark times. Then, fast forward to the summer of August 2017, and I started noticing more and more on YouTube that so many people who used to cover this platform were slowly disappearing and losing interest in it. So it was around that time that I got inspired to start covering the PS Vita on this channel, which I had originally made back in 2010 but didn't do a whole lot with, you know, beyond making playlists and commenting on other people's videos from time to time. So I figured, hey, why not turn this channel into a PS Vita channel? And the rest, you could say, is history. So I initially went from not caring about this device to it being my favorite system of all time, or handheld, I guess, depending on the way you want to say it. And yeah, that's pretty much my story, guys. Now, before I go, I have a quick Patreon question to answer here today, and this comes from Jamie. They said, I'm all about trophies. I've recently purchased a ton of Vita games that I'm hoping to use as trophy hunting games. Just a bit nervous they'll shut down the ability to earn trophies in the future. Now, that's a really good question because we know that Sony was originally planning to shut down the PS Vita and PS3 stores last year, and they did mention that we're able to re-download our purchased games, which is great, but we weren't 100% sure about what was going to happen with many of the online functionalities. Were all the games going to go offline? Were we still going to be able to earn trophies and sync them with our accounts? Now, since the store shutdown never happened, we're still not 100% sure about this, but if I was to give my best educated guess, I would say we probably would have still been able to sync our trophies and earn them to our accounts, since that's technically a separate issue, and considering that Sony did allow us to still re-download our games, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't let us still earn trophies. I think their end goal was just to shut down the stores and not remove the entire system. But again, like I said, since they never went through with it, that's just a guess. But I'm pretty sure that they'll keep the trophy system up for a pretty long time to come. Thank you very much for the question, Jamie, and a big happy 10th birthday to the PS Vita over here in the West. It's certainly been a fantastic journey, and I'm so glad I was able to share my story with you all here today. But I would love to hear from you all. What's your story? How did you get into the PS Vita? What made you become a fan? Please tell me down in the comment section where we can have a fun discussion about it. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. A huge thank you and shout out to all these wonderfully generous supporters who help make this content possible, including Gutter Drums, Hemdall Imbert, Wendy K, David Ray, Hero Acer, Adam Sondi, PS Vita S, Richard Cruz, Joseph Shavak, Jelle, H-Hitter, Michael O'Connor, Phantom XRS, Saul Ramirez, Kyle Brooks, JR, Silica, Per Sterner, Adam Thury, Skulshire Tugel TCG, BMF, Claimer Malarkey, BG Legends, Jared Hado, Kevin Enright, Heston Joseph, Crazy Cat, Rodrigo Vera, Buzz Sayin, Rizal Pliskin, 1488 Dental, Azumara, Nintendo Switch at 2 a.m., Donut Valley, Ricardo Martinez, Dr. Super Artie, Chris Foxhound, Sabin Fire, Hector Gonzalez, Kayonko, Burzin Mystery, Juan M. Hermosillo, Eric DeWitt, Tasha Monty, Mazgus, Matt Hargett, Robert Sylvester, Aridri, No Good, Lacerated 87, Jamie, Makis Blob, B Mystery, Matt Fox, Reiko Star, Neo Arashi, Milk Sama, Bushin Ryu Cat, Shin Snake, Alan Iwazuk, Frayden, Zacrito, and Robert Johnson. If you would be interested in supporting the channel and seeing your name on this end screen here, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that can be provided too, then make sure to check the links down in the description below. I have numerous ways for you to do this down there. Can't support in this manner? Don't worry about it. I have some affiliate links for Play Asia in the video description for anyone who is interested in purchasing something from there, and of course, likes and shares can help equally as much. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it at that. This video ended up being way longer than I wanted it to be. Man, I just don't know when to shut up sometimes.